In terms of accessories and everything, first, your instructions, very simple. It's just gonna tell you how to put on his spear. Next, you have the base. Now, what's awesome about this figure is that you'll have two alternate base you get to choose from. A plain black base like this, so nothing too much to talk about. I am glad they used metal pegs for these, so that's very great. The second base that comes with the figure is this rocky field or rocky floor, and this is awesome. I'm definitely going to use this one. You also have Rider Black, Fate Apocrypha's logo right there. So honestly, this base is wonderful. Nice shading throughout. Sculpt work is amazing as well. You see little bumps on the surface floor. The rocks has great sculpting into it. And there are some nice shading towards the center as well. So overall, a splendid base. I wish more figures have base like these. Next, you have his lance. And in terms of sculpting, it's pretty simple. Painting is where it really shines, especially towards the center of the lance. You have this very nice glossy shine to it, as well as the metallic gold. So that looks wonderful. There's also some shading on the gold as well. Honestly, it looks wonderful. Lastly, you have the end piece of the lance, and again, it's pretty simple, right? Black painting right there, and metallic gold towards the bottom, and it also has some slight shading on it as well. And I forgot to mention, you do get a support stand for his lance. It's gonna be pretty long, so all you're gonna have to do is just put it on like this once you put the figure and everything together. So I'm glad they include this. I saw on forums, on pictures, most people don't really use this, but I'll see if I need to use this or not. Oops. Onto the figure itself, I personally don't really like the smile. It's not really an issue with the figure itself, more so a personal preference. I do love the sculpting all around on his clothing, his cape. It's really phenomenal. You see sculpted wrinkles on his sleeves, on the stockings, right there, and on the boot as well. So all those extra added detail in sculpting is really great. The hair sculpt is amazing. You see individual strands of hair all throughout the head. Now, I kind of wish they added shading onto the hair because there's none whatsoever. Towards the back, I don't think that's shading. It just looks like dirt in my opinion. So I have no idea if you guys can see it on camera, but it just looks dirty. I don't know. It just looks awkward in my opinion. Don't know if it's intentional or it's just QC issue on my particular figure. Now, there is some slight shading onto the cape, and that's great. The fur itself, there's no shading whatsoever. I kind of wish they added darker tones to make it stand out a bit more because it just looks really, I would say, out of place or just too clean. The sculpting for the cape itself is great. You see the folds, the wrinkles on the back. So phenomenal sculpting right there. Painting for the clothing looks great. As far as I can tell, there isn't any paint bleeds or anything. I can always appreciate clean paint work. The gauntlet has this nice gloss shine to it, and I really love the metallic gold painting, especially the emblem on the chest area. That looks great, especially the sculpt work. The detail on it, it's pretty. So here's everything put together, and you technically don't need the support stand for his lance, but I would highly recommend it because there's just a lot of weight on this lance piece, and you know, the handle may break, or the peg that's inserted into this lance piece, it may break or it may warp. As you can see, it's kind of bending already, so you don't want to leave it like that over time. So I would highly suggest using the support stand for the lance, lift it up like that a bit, just to relieve some pressure on the peg itself. So that's what I recommend. You don't have to follow what I say, but trust me, I think it's you'd rather be safe than sorry. For size comparisons, here is a comparison with a 1/7 scale Morger figure, and they look great. They look in scale with each other. Here's another comparison with a 1/7 scale MASH figure. And finally, here's a side-by-side comparison with a 1/8 scale Semiramis figure. So my final thoughts on this figure, it's a wonderful figure. The base is freaking awesome. The painting on the lance and clothing is great. Sculpting on the cape and clothing is phenomenal as well. Great sculpting on the head. And the only thing or complaint I would have would be the lack of shading on the hair. But aside from that, it's a must-have, and we all know how popular Astolfo is. So grab this if you can before it raises in price in the aftermarket. So Highly recommend this one. So looking at the promo images now, I did make a mistake. Essentially, his left hand is supposed to be on top of the lance. Now, I couldn't do so in the beginning because the round portion of the weapon prevented me from just sliding the weapon down like the instructions told me to. So what you're gonna have to do, and be very careful, is first attach the lance and then slightly pull on his left hand, enough for you to get past the round piece. You know, just slide the weapon down while pulling his left hand. And again, once you get past the round portion of the lance, you'll be fine. But you're just gonna have to be careful. And yeah, overall, it looks great.
A tremendous thanks to all my patrons for supporting me. If you want to support my channel, check out my Patreon or channel membership. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more Fates content. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and join my Discord server. All links are in the description. Have an awesome day, everyone. Till next time.